Howdy folks, I never thought that this moment would actually come one day when I would be able to sit here on the balcony and show records again. As I said in the previous video that I have had my problems with my other telephone that I filmed with a microphone, and now I finally have a new telephone that I can film from, and there will be balcony videos, outdoor videos, and so on, and I'm very happy with that. And I can, for the first time in 2 years, say these words: I hereby declare balcony season 2026 for open. Well, I didn't say 2026 2 years ago, but you get the meaning. It's not that sunny right now, but it's very cool temperatures. I felt, why not do it right now? What better way to do this first video on the balcony for 2 years by doing another vinyl CD update that is very much focused on jazz. Well, I have a few 70s soul albums that I can also squeeze in here. It feels unnecessary to leave them out. But otherwise it's mostly jazz. And I explain the situation later on. But a couple of days ago I was in a city called Östersund, and I managed in store to find this Ohio Players Fire from 1974. And as usual, when it comes to Ohio Players, it's a very nice cover sleeve. Try to cover up as much as possible. Very, very interesting. We have Dramatics, Do What You Want to Do, from 1978. And we have Jackson 5, Moving Violation, from 1975. Not one of Jackson 5's most famous albums, I give him that, but it's still, from the quick peeks I've heard, sounds very, very great, and it's still from the Motown period. Now, getting to jazz, and the record store that we have here in the city, Vinylstallet, had during a couple of weeks a 50% sell out of their albums, and in their dollar bins, well, actually the Jackson 5 comes from the same. It wasn't in a dollar bin. It costed normally $8.40 with the 50% off. But it had been coming in a huge deal of jazz albums, and fantastic jazz albums. So I bought a whole lot of jazz. So that's why I wanted to do a special jazz video. But I didn't count on buying some 70s soul either. So, but some 45s also that comes from another place. We have a Swedish jazz piano player called Charlie Norman, playing a medley of various hits, originally released on 78. This is very, very interesting, very nice. We have Ella Fitzgerald and Joe Williams together with the Count Basie, April in Paris, Party Blues and Every Day. Sounds very, very nice. And I'm no huge fan of Fats Waller. Sometimes it tends to be a little too much of comedy act and too little of jazz, in my opinion. But when he is released on his own, when he is solo, and he doesn't sing, doesn't do comedy stuff with the microphone, doing his jazz. When he just plays, is a fantastic one. I can definitely say that. So I wanted to get hold of stuff with him playing solo piano. And finally, I managed to find this. Fast Waller piano solo playing Carolina Shout, Ring Them Bells, Georgia on My Mind, and Rocking Chair. On this great EP, this great 45. So some 45s. But now, this is just jazz. We have a double album set, all-star swing groups, Pete Johnson, Cozy Cole. These are the Savoy sessions, recorded from 1944 and 46, and they have one album each, one with Cozy Cole and one with Pete Johnson. And I listened to this one, and it is really fun to have, because there are 40 musicians that are, at least in Pete Johnson's case, is not that easy to find, not well known today. And then I'm not going to say that every track is absolutely perfect. I mean, the version of Jericho, not Chris Jericho, but Jericho, was so a little too much Dixieland at times, but overall this is really nice for his small band swing. Really nice made. I'm very happy to have this double album set from Savoy. Lionel Hampton, Seeds of Swing, 1945 to 49. And here we have Lionel Hampton with both small band and big band. We have a Lionel Hampton quartet. We have Lionel Hampton and his Hamptonians, octet, septet, orchestra then of course, and sextet. So it is really nice variation of Lionel Hampton recordings. 2 records with Art Tatum. Art Tatum and Benny Carter and Louis Bellson on this magnificent the Tatum Group masterpieces. And I never heard recordings with Art Tatum and Benny Carter. Recorded in 1954. And Art Tatum is one of my absolute favorite pianists because he can do almost anything with the piano. And he does it in such a varied and fantastic ways. And we have this, the Tatum Hampton Rich Trio. Hampton, welcome again, Lionel Hampton, Buddy Rich on drums, and Art Tatum. Really nice trio session that I didn't have either. We have Roy Eldridge, Heckler's Hop, 1935 and 40, and with a lot of recordings that I don't think I have. Putney Dandridge and his orchestra, Delta 4, Mildred Bailey and her orchestra. So it's a lot of royals that I didn't have. And as I said before, these small labels always comes with some really great stuff. So this is released on this label, Swedish label Tax, that I really like. Tax was more or less one guy that from what I understand, and always I find when I find Tax, there are stuff that I didn't have before, and that amazes me. So I'm very happy with finding this, because I have otherwise so much Roy Eldridge with different kind of styles, but I didn't have these ones. Lester Young, another label that is very interesting, this Blue Note reissue series. Lester Young and the Aladdin Sessions. For the first time, the complete Aladdin combo recordings in one package. Rare recordings considered one of the finest by this tenored saxophone giant and leader of the bebop era. I wouldn't count Lester Young a leader of the bop era. He was almost more swing than bop, to be honest. But a lot of bop saxophone players, of course, was inspired by Lester Young. But these are recordings from 45 to 48, and a double album set. Really nice one. 50 cents. Can you imagine? 50 cents for this and the majority of these records. I don't believe it. As is this. Lester Young and Newly Discovered Performances Volume 1, which are live recordings from Royal Roasts with talking and announcing by Symphony Sid, and live jazz with Lester Young. Really, really interesting. From recordings are from dated to 1948. Count Basie at Newport. Jazz at Newport in 1957, and the final concert of it with Count Basie and his orchestra, Jimmy Rushing, Lester Young again, Joe Jones, Illinois Jacquet, and Roy Eldridge again. So we have really, really nice stuff here. Live concert. More live jazz. Pablo Live. Pablo, that I showed a lot from in my video from the record fair. This is Johnny Hodges and at the Sport Palace in Berlin. And it is a lot of Duke Ellington names here, besides Johnny Hodges, Lawrence Brown, Harry Carney, Ray Nance, Sam Woodyard, all Duke Ellington classics. But Duke himself is not here. So it is a concert with Duke Ellington names without the Duke. Recordings from 1961. Dizzy Gillespie and again Roy Eldridge is everywhere. This and Roy, Dizzy and Roy's two historic sessions from 1951, which also contains Oscar Peterson, and a 2 record set from Verve. I have a Pablo release of with Dizzy Gillespie and Roy Eldridge from the 70s, where they played together, and it sounds like 2 really old men being tired and not in their prime at all. This is 1951. They are in their prime, and I have nothing but high hopes for this one. We go way back in time. Louis Armstrong in New York with the Red Onion Jazz Babies. And Red Onion Jazz Babies was like a supergroup at that time, which also contained names like Buster Bailey. There were Fletcher Henderson. We have a lot of the big names, Sidney Bechet, a lot of the big names at the time. And the time here is 1924 to 1925, a recording from. So really nice for me who likes older jazz. And when it comes to older jazz, another label that I can count on, Classic Jazz Masters, that I have 1 or 2 record from since before, and always also searches for these lesser known recordings. So smaller labels, you can count on that there will be little lesser known recordings that is not easy to find, and that I am very happy to be able to find. Now going back to the more modern times in quotations. Coleman Hawkins and Bud Powell, Hawk in Germany. Also a smaller label, Black Lion Records, releases great stuff every now and then. This is a live concert from Germany with Coleman Hawkins, Bud Powell, Oscar Pettibone, and Kelly Clark from 1960. Grugahalle in Essen, Germany. So always fine to find live concerts. And we have also showed Johnny Hodges previously. More Johnny Hodges. Johnny Hodges and his orchestra, but this time with the Dukester. Original 1938 to 39 recordings. And I think, I don't have 100% check on this, but I think the reason for Duke Ellington not being the front name of the orchestra is label reasons. Duke Ellington was contracted to a record label that forbid him from being the leader of any other band than his own. I think that might be the case. And some really nice 40s, 30s Duke Ellington jazz. And finally, we have going from a lot of swing, but having one that are in the more boppier side. We have an Art Blakey Live Messengers Blue Note Jazz Classic Series. This label, and this is Art Blakey and Jazz Messengers, then of course. In a double album set, which is one from Village Gate in August 1961. Some recordings are from March 1962 in Renaissance Club in California, and entire side 2 of the second album is from Birdland in 1954. So some boppier style here, R&B bop, really nice to find. Also, only 50 cents. Some really nice jazz stuff that I managed to find lately, and I'm very happy for that. And try to find time to listen to all of these jazz stuff. But I'm very, very satisfied. And now we go marching into the summer, and the summer times lately have been. There were years in the past where the summer where I managed to find a lot of stuff, but now it has been a year when it's been very dry at times. Not completely dry, but it hasn't been what it once was. Little disappointed with that, but let's hope that this summer can bring some really nice new stuff. So let's see what the next video will be outside. So until next time, I hope that every one of you have a really nice time, no matter where you are, no matter what you do. Take care and so long.